Hello and welcome to Star Trek Into Darkness, episode 16, part 2. This is the second half of our live show that we did in Austin, Texas. So if you haven't...
Listen to part 1, then part 2 is not going to make a damn lick of sense.
Lick of sense. So if you haven't listened to part 1, go listen to that and come listen to this.
Find out how our Talos 4 adventure ends.
And
which path we'll choose, fantasy or reality.
I don't know.
Which will be more pleasant?
I'll probably choose fantasy.
Me too.
But it won't be more pleasant.
I have some dark fantasies.
Yeah, dude, my fantasies are fucked up. So we joined the podcast already in progress with our good friend Rob, who has stepped up to the mic. And enjoy.
Hello, my name is Rob Sayers.
Yeah.
Hello, thank you for doing this. What episode would you like to discuss?
I'm going to be discussing two because I'm an attention whore.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with Balance of Terror, and I'm also going to do For Whom Gods Destroy.
Whom Gods Destroy.
For Whom the Bell Tolls, the Metallica
Time
song.
marches on.
Not the Ernest Hemingway.
Is that your James Hetfield?
Yeah.
Tits McGee?
So which one do you want to start with?
We'll start with
No.
the first one I mentioned.
Balance of
Terror, yes.
Okay, before we get started, Tits McGee, do your James Hetfield impersonation.
Yeah. Do more.
No, this is better. Do your Michael Jackson impersonation.
Give me your dick.
There's the title of the episode.
There we go. Episode 12, Give Me Your Dick. So, Balance of Terror.
Balance of Terror.
Good episode.
I kind of go on about this episode because I think it's so good. I think it's the first great episode in the series. And it's, 5 episodes in?
I think it was like the 8th or 9th.
Eighth,
It's really
good.
early. Yeah.
It's very early, and I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I think it was just a perfect storm of writing, directing, acting, what have you. I think part of it was the fact that they totally stole the plot line. It was from an old submarine movie. Which is fine, because that's what Star Trek did, is it reframed other stories.
Genres.
It took other stories and situations and reframed them in an unfamiliar situation and cast new light. And so I'm perfectly fine with this.
And it is a total submarine story. I mean, the Romulan ship looks like a submarine.
Right.
Don't they even have periscopes?
They have a periscope, yeah.
They have a periscope. I mean, it doesn't actually stick up above the prey, but
they
look into it kind of like it, yeah.
This episode introduced the Romulans.
It introduced the Romulans.
A great ongoing threat.
Right. I think it's the first race that's introduced that really sticks with it. It's kind of the first episode that establishes characters and situations that really do last, like cloaking devices.
Yep.
My favorite race in Star Trek.
The Romulans? Yeah, no, they were great. And sadly, they never really got featured in a movie until Nemesis.
Yes.
And
It's true, they were right.
They're in
And
2009.
even then it was the Remans, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Remans.
What are the
Closely related,
Remans?
but not.
They showed a lot of Romulans die.
Yeah, in the
So in Nemesis, it's not even Romulans?
Kind of.
It's like a branch?
Yeah, it was like the distant cousins, and they were on...
Aren't Vulcans?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how many, fucking branches does this tree have?
Pointy-eared
There's this
hobgoblins.
Romulans have these distant cousins called the Remans, and they run a mining slave operation.
Yeah,
I like that.
I
labor?
Whatever, I can't... Gosh, it's been a long time.
I've got
since
this.
I've seen the movie.
I've got this,
I
guys.
Rob's got it.
Oh, love.
Right, the Reman, the planet of Remus is tidally locked with Romulus, just like the moon is with Earth.
Okay.
So one side is always in darkness, which isn't exactly how the moon works, but
Romulus and Remus are too far.
Yeah,
Right,
Romulus.
right.
Yeah, I mean.
But I figured that the Vulcans were the Remus to the Romulans.
Who's rimming who?
No, the Romulans and the Vulcans are essentially the same race that split off. I mean, not so far in the distant past where they even look different. I mean, they're very similar.
Like
They were a warlike race. The Romulans sort of kept that, and the Vulcans decided to repress their emotions, and become perfectly peaceful, and became vegetarian.
Except for when they get really horned up and need to fight to the
They
death.
throw bowls of soup on the wall.
That's everybody does that.
Yeah, when I get really horny, I break shit and yell at people.
Yeah.
Well, then that was one of the things is, and it gets touched on in Enterprise, is even though they're this very logical race, is they are very mired and almost chained to their traditions.
Right.
So even if this
They're too
tradition
rigid.
is not, like it is not the most logical thing. Like to them, it's like, why wouldn't we do this thing?
We've always done it,
this thing.
right? Which is why Kirk's the better captain than Spock.
That
because
kind of
he can
thinking
think outside that
is
rigid
dangerous.
box, and Spock has to learn how to think outside.
Which,
the box.
mind you, this is not universal, as we saw. I forget the name of it. There was an Enterprise episode where they encounter a group of emotional Vulcans who rejected their logical upbringing.
Emo Vulcans.
And of course, Star Trek V, we encounter.
Jacquerie.
Yes. Was it Spock's half brother?
Yeah.
Who also was emotional.
Okay.
Wait. So
Is Spock's half brother a full blood, or is
he's
he
full-blooded Vulcan.
So what?
So after
So
Mrs.
Sarek was like-
Sarek died,
Before.
She dies.
He's
She
older than
dies?
Spock.
He's old. Oh, so
Yeah, he's
Spock's
older.
dad bones down with.
well, he had
a
to bone
Vulcan.
down every 7 years, right?
No, he does. He has.
Okay,
he has to.
My
But
time establishes that Vulcan again tradition betrothal. So chances are Sarek was betrothed to a Vulcan woman.
Shit,
From
we need
child.
these guys on the
From
show
childhood,
every
exactly.
week, setting us straight.
so like, we assume that she dies, and so
he dies, or she dies, or he went through whatever the name of that ceremony
Ponfar.
was. No,
Appar-
Ponfar is the
The cleansing of
The
emotion.
cleansing.
I forget the name of it.
Kalinar.
Yes.
Kalinar is the cleansing. Ponfar is.
But why?
fuck time.
Yes.
Why would that? Why would that affect like his marriage with her?
Well, he could have mated before he met and married Mrs. Sarek, Mrs. Spock.
No, I'm talking about.
Sarek's married to
Yeah.
Two
human
humans.
women that we know.
Damn.
And
Amanda
Damn.
and Sarah?
I don't remember.
Okay,
Amanda
so-
was one of them.
Sarek was the Gene Roddenberry of Vulcan.
All right, and back to the episode we're
Well,
talking
hold on.
about.
No. I gotta figure out. I'm fucking. I don't know what the fuck's going
I'll
on.
be right back.
Okay, so Sarek. So Spock has a half brother
Yes.
on his daddy's side,
Yes.
and he's full Vulcan.
Yes.
Brother's full Vulcan, rejected his logical upbringing, did not go through Kalimar. No, Kalimar, that's from...
So and he's older. So he's
Whatever.
Kalimar.
Yeah.
I love Kalimar. They're delicious. So his half brother's older. So this means.
Let's assume that he came from his betrothed Vulcan.
So what happened to that lady? What happened to Spock's half
That I'm
brother's?
actually not
Unimportant.
sure. I would have...
Unimportant.
Unimportant.
That's not. I want to know.
I'm sure it was important to Sarek at the time.
Like, yeah, I was like, oh,
He's
shit, like-
insensitive.
He's like, hey, where's your
Sarek
wife?
is
He's
the
like, not
ambassador.
important.
He was the ambassador for Earth Vulcan relations. Met a human female.
Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's another thing. Like, how the
I
fuck
find
does a
it
Vulcan
logical
fall
to
in love?
have that.
They've got emotions, baby.
But they repress them.
They repressed them.
Reproduction's logical also.
But still,
You gotta bone somebody.
but still, he already has a wife, or he had a wife. He
No,
had.
doesn't he also say in the 2009 movie he found it logical because he had to understand Earth?
Like,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like,
and then he came back later and said, "I married
Right.
her because I loved her."
yeah, and how like
No, and then the older they get, like
Well,
Star Trek 6, Spock even says logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end.
okay,
So
so
the older you get, the more you realize it is logical to let your emotions have some sway.
so we don't know where this Vulcan mama is.
I'm,
We don't
No,
know.
yeah, she's never referred to.
yeah.
Like, that's weird to me.
Starting reality bites.
But
Like,
let's assume that's where it came from, though. I think that's a logical. Look at what I just did.
well, no, like,
That's logical.
I completely agree with you there. That it's from his betrothal as when he was a kid. They're like, you two are gonna get married, like Zazu in Lion King. But I thought you were gonna exchange bottle for glass.
Crazies.
But where did that woman? Did she die? Did
We'll say yes.
I've never went like I've read a lot of Star Trek novels. I've never
What was
won
the
Yeah.
best one?
anything by Peter David.
Okay.
Yeah, Peter David.
Peter David Holt?
Best
Peter
one
David?
I read was Federation, which was one of the only other times I've seen the Guardian of Forever really used.
I can't.
And it used
I
it
want
really
to say
well.
that
Which- who's
episode or the
Guardian of
book I
Forever
read.
was in Sitting on the Edge of Forever, yeah.
That's my mom's favorite.
It's widely considered
Episode.
the best.
is it though?
I want-
It's
No,
a
it-
really good episode.
It's not.
It's
We're
not.
talking about the best one right now.
It's my mom's favorite. It's not.
Well, I mean, but like,
I think it's
Squared?
universally considered to be like it's the
It
one
is.
that most people point to and say like
that's
this-
it. That's the best. That's the height of Star Trekery.
I
Was it
think
Conan?
Q Squared was the best Star Trek novel. I can't remember if that's the exact name of it.
QQ.
But it was like this thick. It was by Peter David. And it roped in, oh, it was so brilliant. It roped in City on the Edge of Forever, an episode with the Liberace character.
Squire of Gothos.
Yeah.
Square,
Um,
Which is good.
Yesterday's Enterprise, like it roped in so many of those episodes and did it so well that it all made like it was kind of like, oh, of course this. It was so.
Right.
Peter David was an extremely talented writer, and he recently had a stroke, and because of writers' royalties, he can't afford his medical bills. It's very sad.
I
a lot
hear.
of people in the comics community are helping out.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
and like, I hear like he's already working again, like dictating stuff.
Get into town. Oh, that is very
He
reassuring.
he did a lot of great comic book work.
I was gonna say like Peter David Holt.
Yeah, the Peter David Hulk
Yeah,
is
Peter
like
David wrote for a long
is
time.
the whole point of the Hulk as far as a lot of people are concerned.
Like my whole beef with City on the Edge of Forever is what Sean brought up is that like Kirk is in this point of the series, he's fucking someone new every week, and so him falling in love with someone
with a crazy person
is like okay, well he does that
was
every fucking week.
That was what was so funny to me in that episode by Any Other Name when they were just like, oh hey, these guys don't have sensations, so let's overwhelm them with all of these, and we're gonna okay, everybody take your strengths. So McCoy, you're gonna use your medical knowledge on this fella. Scotty, you're going to use the game of drink.
I love
Spock,
that.
you're going to use logic. And Kirk, you're going to use the best weapon at your disposal, your
dick.
sexuality.
Your dick, your pee-pee. So Balance of Terror.
Yeah, great episode. And speaking of Sarek, this is the first time we've seen Mark Leonard in the series.
Yes, he plays the Romulan
commander.
commander. A great role.
Really was. They do that.
And
that
another
really cool
life.
thing where he jettisoned, his CEO's body with a bunch of garbage in order to escape.
Right.
And then George Lucas stole that later
for
on.
Yes.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Like
right.
and God, there's so
There's a lot George Lucas stole. from this
there's
series.
so much
Well,
shit.
I'm talking, so I'm going to say we're about to tell the same story.
Star Trek snap.
No, we're about to tell the same exact
Trek
story.
snap.
In Trek Nation, Gene Roddenberry Jr., he's going around talking to all these people who were either influential to Star Trek or influenced by it. He goes to Skywalker Ranch, he interviews George Lucas, and basically asks George Lucas, hey,
Come on, man.
what influence did Star Trek have on you? Because obviously it was like the predominant sci-fi when you were sort of starting out.
Because watching Star Trek
Right,
it obviously
and
influenced
he
the
basically
fuck out of
admits,
you.
like, yeah, that was basically the start of it. That was sort
Also
of,
some Japanese dude. Let's not talk about it.
Akira Kurosawa. Well, he stole Kurosawa's story structures and Roddenberry's sci-fi
and sweeps
trappings.
and transitions.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. He's a very big fan of those old transitions.
and I don't know, Balance of Terror, we just see a lot of neat stuff. I think it was the first great episode. We see the naval thing really coming into play,
Yes.
which we end up seeing a lot more. Harv Bennett really was into that, which you'll see
In the movies.
Yeah, in
What
the
do you mean by
movies.
naval? Like the structure of the
Like treating it like
Treating it like it's
a
a
naval
naval battle.
yarn. Yeah, like
Um,
especially Wrath of Khan
Like
is a
the
total.
yeah, Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, not just like flying into space and like shoot like like in like the 2009 movie, they're just flying around shooting lasers like like it's a battle, like it's very very strategic in Balance of Terror as opposed to just like let's fly around and fucking go
as opposed
nuts.
to like a dogfight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ships would have to
They're not
float
treating
across
they're not
Yeah.
treating starships like X-wings. They're
Yeah.
treating them like giant,
Right.
tall ships.
Which, I mean, there's not a perfect translation, but I've always enjoyed the whole naval aspect of Star Trek.
Me too. It's actually my favorite. It's
So,
one of my favorite
And
things.
tying in with another Star Trek theme, it's like a chess game kind of.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yes.
Right.
DS9 does that pretty okay.
Yeah.
The whole name.
I'm very excited to get to DS9.
You
I-
should be.
I
my
like
favorite.
I like Balance of Terror for the same reason I like the Corbomite maneuver.
The only one
Um, Very there's not a whole lot to them as far as visually,
Right.
but just like the ideas are great. Like the theme is
It's
great.
really
Very
tight,
cerebral.
tight
Yeah.
reading
Yeah.
or tight writing, and it's very intense too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you don't know how how it's gonna. Or I mean,
You kind of know, but
I mean,
you don't
well-
know how they're going to get.
well,
out.
yeah. I mean, you know that the Enterprise is gonna make it out, but you don't know how they're gonna do it.
Right. And I guess the last thing I'll touch on in this episode, there was blatant racism in the show, and then explicit denouncing of said racism.
Oh, that's true because
Which-